Today on the Auburn Torch, a look ahead to Auburn Gymnastics meet with number 1 Oklahoma this weekend and why the Alabama meet might have been the shot in the arm that the Tigers needed. Let's take a look at it. If you're not sick enough yet of Norman, Oklahoma, after last night's men's basketball game, you probably will be, or you may be, depending on the results. We're recording on Wednesday morning, February 25th. Tomorrow, the Auburn women's tennis team plays at Oklahoma, 11 o'clock. Something you could follow at the office during the workday. I think it might be 11:30. And then Friday, it is 11:30. Friday night at 6:45, Auburn Gymnastics is at number 1 Oklahoma. So I'll actually be back in the, I assume, the same arena as men's basketball. And hey, I figured let's talk about gymnastics today because not too much else to talk about, and I'm probably not going to write an article about it before the meet, just because I've got a couple other things coming up the pipe. First, I think let's just hear from Auburn head coach Jeff Graba. He spoke yesterday, and I was very interested in whenever you think about the rivalry meet, right? Like when you think, especially, someone who's been, if you're an Auburn fan, right? And, I had a tweet. It's probably my second realist tweet besides the Auburn has never played a normal game in any sport. The other one was, welcome to the Iron Bowl, where no one has fun and everyone just wants to throw up, right? Like, no matter what, it's just no fun. It's either relief or tragedy and nothing in between, and there's no fun. But I'll say Auburn Gymnastics is on the verge of an impressive job if they can make, I'll at least put some scores up here, if they can make this rivalry meet, which was a loss, they could make it the turning point of their season, like making the most of the rivalry, right? They have a way to really make the most of this meet, because like Julianne Hough came in after the meet and said, like, I had more emotions coming into this one because of the rivalry, right? And Auburn, as you know, scored a 197-250 with a couple tenths very obviously left out there. So Auburn looked a lot like a 197.5 team, not going to lie. And obviously, lost the meet head-to-head, 197.950 by Alabama. They're number 3 in the country. But here's the thing. This can go one of two ways, right? There's a crossroads, or there's a way you can take this, right? And one is a devastating loss to Alabama, being discouraged and moving forward without, just moving forward discouraged. And the other way to do it, was to, and Auburn's halfway there, they did it on meet week, was to use the rivalry meet as a kickstart, as a jump start, as a kick in the pants halfway through the season, to break the humdrum, to break whatever rut you were in, or whatever, maybe not rut, but whatever routine you were in. The rivalry meet breaks it. And now the other half of it is to continue to use that hunger, continue to use that. So that's what I'm very interested in. I'm very interested in what role this rivalry meet could play when we look back at this season, because it's also very different from other sports, like pretty much every other sport. I mean, you're gonna hang your head if you lose the rivalry, right? And Auburn Gymnastics did hang their head. They did want to win badly, right? But to use it as like, if you've had a tough 8 weeks to start the season, to use it as a reset, you know? I mean, we've never seen that before. Like in football, say, and I don't know if it would have happened because of what was going on at the top, but think about the Harsin years and the Freeze years where football played Alabama really close, right? And there's no moral victories. There's no moral victories. There's no moral victories. But if that happened in October, where you went to overtime, where Jordan Hare was electric, where you in the heat of, you had this heated battle, the biggest battle of the season, right? And you performed to go to overtime or to go to 4th and 20 or whatever. God, sorry to bring it up. So, we don't talk enough about, oh yeah, we rushed 2 and it was the right decision, you moron. Anyway, to have, so imagine that. Imagine having that battle in the middle of the season, and then you play, Mississippi State the next week. You'd probably fare better than they did, right? Like there are some games where there are some times in these past few, which were bad seasons for Auburn football, but like there were some times where if you inserted an electric, week of practice as well, and this is what we're getting to, right? An electric week of practice, an electric game, an electric, time in your life where you really wake up, a wake up moment. If you inserted that in the middle of the season, you could probably do better. Hey, COVID year, when Gus Malzahn's last year, remember they beat Mississippi State after the Iron Bowl because they had a delayed game? All to say. Crazy. It's a crazy experiment. It never, I guess in basketball it doesn't really happen this way. Maybe that Sharif Cooper year where they played Sharif, but Sharif was the shot in the arm then. Anyway, let me go to Jeff Graba. Here's what he had to say yesterday, especially about them having a good day of practice. Here's Jeff Graba.
Well, after probably keep doing what we're doing, I feel like we only had a day and a half of practice before it, but it was some of our best day and a half of workouts that we've had this spring. Just a lot of intensity in the gym. People actually, engaged in the process. We've never had bad practices, but this one was these last week were pretty intense on their part and on ours. And one of the things that we talked a lot about is on Saturday morning is let's not drop the intensity just because we seem like we're on the right track. Feel like that's what happened after NC State. Started out strong and then dropped the intensity, and it's hard to get people back up. So this week has been about you figured out the formula. Don't search for easy answers. Just keep doing what you've been doing.
What was interesting to me there is, I don't know if Jeff was as optimistic about that day and a half of practice. So they got a day and a half of practice going into the Alabama week because they had such a stacked week the week before. That was when they went to LSU and then Fort Worth Friday, Sunday. So, and then Fort Worth was difficult travel back. So they had they could do some stuff on a Wednesday, right? I don't know how optimistic he was that they were going to get, but because of the rivalry, because of the juice, they did get a good day of practice, like a jolt in the arm type of day of practice, right? And so now it's just a matter of keeping it going, right? And I asked him a little bit more about that too, and he said, it's all about just keeping an attack attitude. Here's a little bit more of what Jeff had to say.
All right. So I told him on yesterday. So this is Tuesday. So I told him after Monday's practice. This is why it's hard for me to give compliments. Okay. Because the job's not done. I would love to give compliments end of April. And I think it's just young people buying into the fact that, you don't need confirmation from the coaches that you're doing well when judges are giving you good confirmation. And all the confirmation in the world from your coaches, it's not going to solve a low score. So it's just mental resiliency. You got to believe in yourself as much as other people believe in you. So yeah, I think to me it's mainly like, what is the attitude in the gym? Is the attitude an attack attitude, an energy attitude, an intensity attitude, or is it, comfortable? And you're not going to get better if you're comfortable.
I don't know, man. I think it's possible. I think it's possible that having this meet right smack dab in the middle of the year. Well, it's actually not smack dab in the middle. It's like this kind of begins the last quarter of the schedule. I think it could. I think, when you talk about, a lot of gymnastics is tangible. A lot of it is, concrete. It is but then a lot of it is intangible. A lot of it really is. And a lot of it's between your head, between your ears, between your heads, between your ears. I don't know. I wonder. So this is the challenge, like he said, to keep it in attack mode. The challenge to make the most of this is, can you go to OU and look a lot like that same team? Now, it's harder to do on the road than it is at home, and yada yada yada. And you gotta not get discouraged from head-to-head losses to number 2 LSU, number 3 Alabama, and number 1 Oklahoma in the span of 3 weeks. But these kids, they get it. They understand. They totally get it. They understand that you can go to OU and come out of it with a loss, but be so much better prepared, like, for postseason than you were, right? Like, that's totally viable. That's totally something that could happen. So, anyway, oh man, dude, Auburn does play Missouri. Meet Missouri. The strength of schedule, again, doesn't only kind of matters, because of, holy cow, yeah. No, number 1 Oklahoma, number 2 LSU, number 3 Alabama, number 4 Florida, number 6 Georgia, number 7 Missouri, number 8 Arkansas, all on Auburn's schedule. the whole top 8, except for UCLA. Because I was thinking, maybe they dodged Missouri, but they didn't. They're there. And in fact, they've got Georgia again at Elevate the Stage. Holy cow. What a brutal schedule. But again, this is why, you can't really take head to head. Anyway, all to say, it's a bit of a ramble from me, but I just think it's very interesting that this meet could have been the shot in the arm that this team needs, and we will see it this week at Oklahoma. Couple other things. I mean, we could go through. Again, I'm probably not going to write about it, so we could go through everything, every event. Vault did its job. The middle of, if you're checking out, if you're reading what we're writing at auburntorch.com, the middle of the lineup is building, which is exactly what you want. You're just waiting on maybe Paige to knock down a big 995 or 9925 or 9975 like she's capable of, which would raise, this is a 49.35. Oh, last time that could be raised to a 49.4 territory, right? I've asked Jeff about that before, and he's, Paige is just working back from injury. And one of the things with that is, when you go to a meet, you have to throw your vault a lot, right? You have to throw it. You have to warm it up in warm-ups. You have to warm it up in touch warm-ups, and then you have to actually compete it, right? So stamina is a part of it. And when you're injured and you're limiting reps, stamina might be one of the last things that comes back, right? So it's been hit or miss. She has hit it, but having the stamina to hit it consistently is one of the things that they're waiting for to come back, right in time for postseason, for Paige Zancan. So that's, without Sophia Bell, Bryn Torrey 9.875 with her vault. It hurts to not have Sophia Bell, but there's still there is a pathway, right? There is a plan in place. There is an idea of this coming online at just the right time, right? On bars, hey man, Hey, man. 49,225, which was, season high last time. So much credit to Alex Irvine for just holding. Alex Irvine is the Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, holding the train on the two webs, like just holding this bars lineup together from some of the disasters that it could have been. And obviously, visual watchers, the opposite of audio listeners, visual watchers. You want a little more out of the middle of your lineup here. But again, pathways, right? What's the possibility here? Yes, there's a possibility that things are going to click for your freshmen at the end of the season when they're not so much of a freshman anymore. Yes, there's a possibility for someone coming back from injury to take that next step by the end of the season, right? Right? It's mentioning football. It is not like these last couple coaches where you see where you're like, what are they even doing? And there's no answer for it, right? Like there's an answer here about what are they doing? What are they going for? Beam 49,350, good score, could have been great, could have been more, strong score, could have been good. With Alex Irvine hitting like she has in the last few meets, everyone's. Again, I said it before this was with Paige, but again with Alex, it's like, if you run a play in basketball that gives your 3-point shooter, if you get Steph Curry an open look in the corner, sometimes he's still going to miss, right? But you're going to run that play again because it's going to work later, right? Here, Irvine, and it didn't help. I mean, because you're dropping this 9.725, so Irvine got a 9.825. She gets a 9.9. This is a 49.45. She gets any higher, it's even higher, right? These are the tents that are left out there that I was telling you about. And really, if you still aren't on the train of, I don't feel good after this meet. This is what I'm trying to give you. But, obviously going to Oklahoma, going to OU, going on the road, pretty far travel, going to be difficult to replicate it. But that's the task, right? That's the challenge. And then on floor, obviously you're missing Bell. But we will see. Still, that's their most consistent, I would say, has been their most consistent apparatus, not only this season but several seasons in a row. Anyway, all right, I rambled. That was me just venting about gymnastics. We'll be following it. It'll be on Friday, not tomorrow. Tomorrow, a little more activity on the all sports calendar for us. Today, baseball is at 6:00 against West Georgia. It will be on SC Network Plus if you're interested. And then Thursday, things heat back up with track at SC Indoors, women's tennis on the road, softball, and women's basketball both tomorrow night. So we'll be back tomorrow, have a little bit more direction and more to talk about. But until then, check out Auburn Torch. Stay tuned for some of the things we're working on. And take care.